The Dragon Duke is the newest hero added to Clash of Clans, so let's break down the best attacks you can use the Dragon Duke in for every Town Hall level. Starting with Town Hall 15, we have the Fireball Rocket Balloon attack, which is very powerful despite not having the Stun Blaster equipment or the Angry Jelly pet. We mainly want to start this off by using the Grand Warden charge by starting this off with the healers and of course the furnaces. This is going to speed up the process of our charge early on, where we can also use invisibility spells on nearby buildings in order to get the fireball in towards the core of the base, where we can clear something like the CC, the Eagle Artillery, Scattershot, etc. That is going to create really good pathing for our Warden charge and our hero dive. This is going to happen on two different sides, so you can kind of just let the Warden do his own thing, clear as many defenses early on. If there are any enemy heroes that he needs to deal with, you can always use a Headhunter, but with that said, the Warden is going to walk on one side of the base. This allows you to set up the other side of your funnel by using the Siege Barracks. This is going to cut off your King and Queen so they can actually work in. So while your Warden is kind of walking around, getting support from extra furnaces, you've got your King and Queen to be used inside the base with super wall breakers to open up the base to support your push, while using the Siege Barrack to funnel your heroes in. This allows you to have a really nice split as you move in towards the Town Hall and the core of the base. You can use the Earthquake Boots and Spiky Ball here in order to open up the base for your Queen, and you can also use the Dragon Duke over on the far side, away from everything. He wants to take advantage of his Tantrum ability, so it allows you to clear through plenty of structures. You can also use his ability at any given point, same thing with the Archer Queen and her ability, and as long as you have some rage spells to power up the Grand Warden to keep him from dying, you should be fine. Just make sure that you use the rocket balloon sparingly, especially to clear defenses, and you can use those totem spells from your CC in order to also distract additional defenses like the monolith. Otherwise, you should be able to 3-star more often than not with how powerful this is, and despite the limitations of the Dragon Duke. Moving on up to Town Hall 16, we have the Root Rider Smash, but instead of the Royal Champion charge, we're running a Dragon Duke charge. This works similarly to the Royal Champion charge, but we're using the Dragon Duke instead, since he does way more damage and does have a slight range, allowing you to use invisibility spells with him. This is used every 4 seconds, similar to a Royal Champion charge that doesn't have the Spirit Fox, since in this case we're using him with the Angry Jelly to force him to go for defenses. Otherwise, the invisibility spell placement is going to be tight, but it is going to allow you to get plenty of value. You also have the Dragon Duke's ability, the Stun Blaster. It allows him to take a lot less damage, and you don't need to use any invisibility spells during this time. This allows you to use one final one, and that way you can clear plenty of other structures, and he also has his Fire Heart, which will do damage on death, allowing him to get a little bit more before he falls. This then allows you to send in the Root Riders, the Throwers, which are very strong and much stronger than taking Valkyries, and you also have the Barbarian King setting up funneling for those Throwers and the Root Riders as they work around. You do want an Overgrowth spell in order to overgrowth in a key area like the Town Hall in this case, since there is still the Town Hall poison, and you've also got the Royal Champion to help work into the base, deal with the enemy CC, and get plenty of value. We also have the Grand Warden with his Rage Gem to power up the healers, and the Healing Tome to heal those healers back up and heal much more of your units. Otherwise, once the Overgrowth expires, you also have the Royal Champion with her Frostflake equipment that can easily help protect more of your troops, in addition, as well, to a Revive. This is used for the Dragon Duke. Since he's used alone and away from air troops, he gets that enraged bonus immediately. So having a Revive is really smart with this, and it allows you to continue the funnel quite effectively without having to worry, controlling the Root Riders even further than they could already do. This is a lot better than having the Royal Champion, since the Dragon Duke just has way more HP and does way more damage. This should allow you to very simply 3-star bases with Root Riders now, especially with how strong the Throwers are with them, and of course the new Dragon Duke. Now moving over to Town Hall 17, we have Electro Dragons, and this is particularly strong because of the Dragon Duke's strength with the Angry Jelly and his Stun Blaster equipment. We're going to mainly start this off like any other E-Drag attack. We're going to use 2 E-Drags on one side to create a bit of funneling. On this side, there aren't too many defenses that can target air, so this is a great place to target using the Electro Dragons to set up funneling. This doesn't really need any rage spells. You can use tome spells here or rocket balloons if you like, but the main thing is to then use the Archer Queen over on the other side. Her giant arrow can snipe down any air defenses and sweepers, and also activate invisibility spell towers. This way we have the Siege Barrack working in alongside the Queen to also protect her and set up additional funneling, while we've got the Electro Dragons, the Grand Warden, and the Minion Prince working through the middle. This allows us to use totem spells to distract defenses and a rage spell early on to power them up. The Minion Prince's ability early on will allow defenses to do less damage and keep more of your E-Drags alive, while using the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome to protect your E-Drags. Now over on the back end of the base, we have the Dragon Duke. His goal is just to clear defenses over on the back end. So similar to a back end Royal Champion or a back end King with the Stick Horse, we're using him with the Stun Blaster to minimize the amount of damage done by defenses and also just be able to clear them. So while the E-Drags are kind of splitting and thinning out a little bit more, he has plenty of power to work around the base, dealing with defenses, and for the most part, you should be able to 3-star with no problems whatsoever, since how strong the Dragon Duke is, especially when you put him on in the back end. He is absolutely going to survive through the rest of the raid and easily help you 3-star with those Electro Dragons. And for Town Hall 18, we have the Super Witch Smash, which is very powerful, especially with the Heroic Torch. The main reason to why this is so powerful is that Super Witches have a new level, so it allows them to get plenty of value, especially with the Torch. So we want to start off with a Warden Walk in order to clear out early defenses, create a little bit of funneling for our Super Witches, but also clearing a few of the innermost defenses. In this case, this first layer of defenses, which includes the Multi-Archer Tower, Air Defense, and Expo. This allows us to control our Super Witches a lot more effectively. The Rage Gem is offering enough power for the Grand Warden, for the healers, and soon enough, the Super Witches. So once that funnel is set, we can use our Super Witches to lure him over, and over on the other side, we're using our Archer Queen to set up funneling. This is really plain and simple. This is going to funnel our Super Witches and Barbarian King into the base, as he has the Stick Horse and the Giant Gauntlet, allowing him to avoid walls entirely and set up great funneling, especially going into a Fire Spitter. So while the Super Witches are working in, dealing with the enemy CC, we have the Troop Launcher to provide additional balloons to soak up Seeking Air Mines, and over on the other side, we're running the Dragon Duke. The goal here is to clear out a given funnel, one with the King on one side and the Dragon Duke on the other. This allows us to use the Stun Blaster equipment to provide support for himself, while the Super Witches are being supported by the Grand Warden and his Heroic Torch. The Overgrowth can be used to mitigate damage from the Monolith, and then honestly, you just have the rage spells to use, especially towards the back end, with your Super Witches being able to ignore walls, having the big boys be able to ignore walls as well, and the Dragon Duke being able to stay alive. You'll very easily crush through these bases because you've set up great funneling, mainly because of the King's Gauntlet and Stick Horse, allowing him to get in, set up funneling more effectively, and the Dragon Duke, who already flies, so you can easily clear 2 different sections and allow the Heroic Torch to get way more value. This is why this is a great strategy now than there has ever been before. With how strong and flexible the Dragon Duke is,